ScrappinAbby, and I have another haul video. This is from a shop that's in downtown DeLand. It's called Pop Culture something collectibles, and the guy isn't going out of business. He's just closing that particular physical location because he has items in a couple different kind of antique malls in downtown DeLand, and he also runs yard sales out of the different storage units that he has. So when I first saw the sign that he was closing out and everything was 25% off, I was like, what? No, I just found your shop. I love it because I've done a haul video with him before. I found some great vintage ephemera. And some of the things that are in there, just to kind of give you a quick, I was going to take pictures, but there were so many people in there the last day, which was yesterday. I was going to actually do like a little quick vlog, like, not have any sound to it so you couldn't hear people talking and that kind of stuff, but there was just way too many people in there, so I didn't want to get anybody on camera. But it has things like, collectibles of like things from the 80s, like when I was a kid, and well, I was born in 72, but I'm talking like when I was in grade school and stuff. But like you know strawberry shortcake type stuff, hobby, I almost said Hobby Lobby, Holy Hobby. Anybody remember that? I used to have that. Anyway, it had things like, vintage race car stuff and NASCAR stuff and movie memorabilia, just that kind of collecting type of stuff, just all that kind of, pop culture stuff. So in the back of the store, he has like this room dedicated nothing to this vintage ephemera, books and maps and just all kinds of really cool things. So I wanted to share with you what I bought from that particular sale. I have a lot more on the floor. I kind of want to have my desk clear for a little bit so I can kind of focus on what I'm sharing with you. So the first thing is, let's go through the different postcards and things that he had. Now some of them you might see prices on the back side. That is not what I paid. One, because everything was 25% off, and two, because he remembers me coming in there and buying a few things before. So I will hold these up so you can take a peek at them. But you can read on there what this is from New York City. Really cool image. I love that. And the back side. So again, that's not what I paid. That's just what he had on it originally. This is the MetLife or New York Life building in New York. I have this thing for old vintage New York architecture. Shots of any type of photography from kind of old New York, or the houses, whether it be row houses, or it's office buildings, or beaches, or people walking, and it's just I'm just infatuated with that whole type of look. So this one's really cool. Waiting for it to focus here. I like the back side a little bit better than the front, and I'll show you why in just a second. If I can get this one to autofocus here, give me just a second. There we go. So this one here, they've touched up where they've highlighted some of the clothing on the beachgoers, but again, it's still a really pretty photo, I think. Kind of like the coastline. I love the back side because of the stamp and just the scratched up writing, just the wear and tear of this being in people's hands. So when I incorporate this into what I'm going to be putting in, I'll share that at a later date. I'll use this as a tip in, so it kind of flips up and down. So I'll be sure to share that with you. This is the Channon building in New York City. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. There you go. And the back side of this one is not written on either, so there's that one. These next few ones are really cool because they're almost like this linen kind of paper. I'll hold it up where you can kind of see the texture in there. That's how these are, and they feel like they're embossed. It's just really, really cool. So I loved that photo as well. Just the illustrations and stuff, really pretty. Again, this one has a note on there and a date, and this one's 1940. So that's another one that I would want to probably tip in so I can see the front and the back. This one here is Night Scene, Mission Boulevard in Chicago. And it's really like the bright pops of color in this one. Thought that was really cool. And the back side, love that. That is distressing that you cannot buy. That is like legitimate. So it's really cool. This one reminds me of, even though this is not in Oregon, this is from Boise, Idaho, which is close to the Oregon border, but this looks like home to me, and so I like that because we have gorgeous mountains, and I lived in the Willamette Valleys where I was born and raised, and this just looks like home to me, so I really like that one. I wanted to grab that. And this is from a country home in Rochester, Minnesota. Imagine that, have for your country estate, your weekend estate. after a busy work week, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to go out to my little country house. So funny. This actually looks like one of the houses in, it's actually the very first, it was a pilot episode of Murder, She Wrote. It's a two-parter. And this one I thought was really cool because it looked, not, that's not true. It's, yes, it is. It was a pilot one because there's a house that she goes to and it looks like that kind of, so it's really cool. Yes, I'm a Murder, She Wrote fanatic. This is Old State House, Boston, Mass. Again, just the architecture and the illustration is very, very pretty. This one's also written on as well. I'm trying to see the date. This one's 1948. Mr. Bob Williams. Something, I can't read it, what that says, but there you go. So really cool. This one I thought, this isn't in Florida, this is in Mobile, Alabama, but it just looks like the Florida vintage postcard set that I bought from Michelle on Red Cottage on Etsy. I just like the colors, thought it was pretty. I'll hold this up in case you want to pause the video and read what it says about it, in case you're from that area. This is Ferry Building in Bay, San Francisco, California. Again, just love the illustration. Now this looks to me, once it focuses here, this looks to me like a scene right out of, come on now. This looks just like a scene like right out of, what is that? Vertigo to me. When James Stewart is, you know, following Kim Novak around. It just looks like that era. There we go. It just looks like that era to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I like it. And this is the back side. This is pretty much smeared and all that jazz, but I still think it looks great. Lastly, this one was in a sleeve, protective sleeve, so let me pull it out. And this is the Clyde Steamship Company General Offices, 19 State Street, New York, the SS Apache. And this is a postcard, and I'll hold this one up so you can see it. I mean, just look at the paper, how it's just, you know, over time, it's got that natural distress just from all the hands touching it, and just that illustration of that ship is just beautiful. There's that right there. Just great ephemera for sure. For sure, for sure. Love that. And then the back side is plain. And there you go. So there's that one. So now I'm going to move on to a couple books that I found, which I almost missed. Actually, that's true for quite a few things I grabbed. Actually, I'm going to do these maps first, sorry. And then I'll do the books. Because the guy has his shop organized, but I think because there were so many people in there trying to, you know, see what was left or whatever, and kind of the buzz that surrounds when a store is closing, and things weren't getting put back where they belong. And that's the story with those books. So let me show you these maps. I won't go into a lot of detail, but most everything I find that's ephemera in there is a lot of it's local to Florida, some Central Florida, some South. It just kind of depends, but it's mostly Florida stuff, which is cool because we're in Florida now, so it makes sense. But this is our old Rand McNally Fort Myers, Florida map. And I remember as a kid growing up, we go on road trips and stuff, that my mom would pull out the glove box, the different Rand McNally maps like this when my dad was driving. All his kids were in the back and everything. I just remember it just evoked memories of that for me. But this is great, and I will share with you when I get to the particular video or projects of why I grabbed these maps. So look for that coming up. A lot of this stuff is going to be post my trip to Oregon. So a lot of this is not going to happen until probably mid-June and after around that point, because like I said, I fly out next week, so I got some other things I got to be focusing on. But here is another one of Florida. This one's the Greater Miami, and this is a street map, and it's I didn't fold it back right. Let me get it back the way it was in the packaging here. Here we go. So this looks like you could just mail this off to somebody like it is, you know, Bandit or something like that. I thought that was kind of cool. But it's the 27 incorporated communities of Dade County in Miami. And I've been to Miami once before, actually twice before, when I was 21, when I flew out on a cruise. I flew there, spent the night, left, and then came back and flew home. So it wasn't like it was a Miami trip. It was basically just a drop-in spot to get on the cruise ship. But I just love how this looks. So we're going to plan a trip to go to Miami because it's about, I think, about a 3-hour drive for us. So, you know, we've got all kinds of different places we want to visit here. And we haven't been here for quite a year yet even, so we got plenty of time, of course, to look at everything. But just to kind of open this up just a little bit, to show you the cool images on here, and just the, you know, the whole, just the drawing. I'm looking for the architecture was what I'm trying to say. I just love it, all the graphic, and you've got like the water over here, like the all the different little like peninsula type little bits over there, and I just think it's really, really cool. So I'm happy to have this in my, now I can't get this thing pulled it back up again. Holy moly. And there's a big old map on the back side too. So let me carefully, so I don't want to crack this or anything because it's kind of fragile. Let me just put this off to the side. And that is something I will put together after I'm done doing the video. So stay. So this is a 1908 book. And just pull that sticker off there. So this is, I don't know if my camera's going to pick it up or not, but this is actually purple, and I am dying over this. And it's really faded right here. So obviously it was stored like in front of a window or just whatever. And it's old, from 1908, but it doesn't look as purple, but I grabbed it because I just saw the date. And when I pulled it out, I saw how beautiful this is in the purple, and just the texture of the book and the seal on there. So, and I mean, look at this. Doesn't that just, like, if you love old things like this and books like I do, that just makes me so happy. This is just so, so pretty. So I won't spend a lot of time flipping through this one, the books. I could, but I won't right now. So I love that. Like, you can see that book binding is kind of netted up right there, and the marbling. So this is, I didn't tell you what it was even about. A yearbook of the Department of Agricultural. So, I mean, look at the pages. I mean, these look like they're all tea and coffee stained, but it's just the way the paper is because they're old. So there are some gorgeous illustrations in here, and I'm just going to show you a few of them. One of them I'm really excited about because I'm actually going to be using it in my living room decor, which will probably sound weird when you see it, but it'll make sense. I probably should have bookmarked it before I started filming, but let me see if I can find it. Or is it this one? Was it this the book? Yeah, this is the one I found it in. Okay, so look at the back here while I'm back here. Just look at the different tables and the graphs and stuff. I mean, that is just awesome. This is such amazing ephemera. And I mean, look at that. It's just so cool. I love it. It's an awkward angle, and I don't want to rip the spine, so sorry. There's some maps. These maps in here, they actually pull out. Thought this was fabulous. I got 4 of those that are in this book. And I'm just trying to be careful because the spine's kind of coming apart, and I don't want this to tear anymore. So give me just a sec here while I look for it. But these were mixed in with some like old motorcycle, gearhead, car type of books, which I have no interest in that kind of stuff. But because I saw that poking out where it said 1908, that caught my attention. So Italy is on my husband and I's bucket list. That has been a dream of ours for probably close to, not quite a decade, but close to. And that's something we're going to go do when our daughter's off in college and she's doing her own thing and all that kind of stuff, because we want to be gone for about 2 or 3 weeks whenever we make this big trip. But this is so cool because it shows these ladies cutting lemons there in Sicily, and then down here they are removing the pulp of the lemons. Just really cool stuff in here, and I love the papers because they're just all nice and slick and glossy. And but I need to find it because I want to show it to you so bad. But there's like some outdoor pictures, like when they're out there. Here it is. This is the one. I love this. This is my favorite illustration out of this one. This is an Eaton raspberry, and it has the artist signature down here. But I'm so excited about this. I shared this, I can't get it because it's buried, but I shared some stuff in my Hobby Lobby haul, my most recent one. I love this. I'm so excited about it. I can't even hardly stand it. So the next one is from 1922, and it's an agricultural book from the United States Department of Agriculture. Abby can articulate. This is my defense for this. I'm gonna make a point about this because the left half of my face is numb, including in my mouth. So the left half of my tongue, inside my mouth, the left half of my lips over. Like, you just take a straight line down the middle of my face. Everything on the left is numb, like I just had my teeth, like I had a cavity filled or something at the dentist, like Novocaine type. That's what I've had since I had my brain surgery in March of 2015. So sometimes it is difficult for me to articulate words that I can easily pronounce. I know how they're supposed to sound, but I have difficulty sometimes. I'm just self-conscious about it. So just want to throw that out there, that I can speak. It's just hard sometimes. So look at that lovely aging on this book. I love it. Just really cool. And I love the texture on the book as well. So this one has some great, I mean, these pages are slicky like, and I love it. So this could be, I don't know, just water, coffee, I don't know, whatever it is, but it just adds to the look. So there's just some great maps, map photos of different maps. And this one also has, let me show in the back here, this also has some different stats and different graphs, and I just love this kind of thing. I just think it's so cool. I won't take the time to try to find it now, but there was one that almost looked like a ledger page. I'm not sure if I can find it quickly, but there's just so much in here. I mean, this whole back is just full of this kind of stuff. So, you know, look for old books and things too, because, you know, for some of your vintage ephemera bits, even if you're doing junk journals, scrapbook layouts, cards, tags, anything, canvases, all that kind of stuff. And this kind of stuff can absolutely be mixed in with shabby. And I will share that at a later date. All right, now let me grab a couple other things here. I got two things I'm saving for last because they are amazing. So this here is a record. My husband chuckled when he saw me grab this record set of records. Actually, I like Bing Crosby. I'm not a big fan of his music, meaning where I want to listen to all of his songs. I like him in White Christmas, but I just, you know, and he's just not one of my top faves for classic movies. So I didn't really buy it for the music, and especially cowboy stuff, but I bought it because of the book itself. I just love this. It's so cool. The gold embossing on here. And I love the fact that it has the sleeves inside here already, and has all the records inside. And I'll share something with you about the records at a later date as well. Sorry to be like dropping teases or hints and stuff, but just, you know, I'm leaving here pretty quick to be gone for a month. So I gotta kind of prioritize some stuff, but those are things that are to come. So this was a pack. Again, these were mixed in with like some other things that I never would have looked through, but I happened to see out of the corner that the Life was on there. So this was a pack, and these are 3 World War II Life magazines. And I love collecting these because of the ephemera, just how cool they are. Not that I like really showcase war or, you know, military type stuff, but there are other things. Like I just opened it up, the ads in here. I mean, the ads are just crazy insane. I just love it. The colors, and there's just, you know, just so much you can do with these types of magazines. So I'll just kind of do a quick flip through on these. Ooh, look at that. Lady with a Line. One-way round trip. Sausalito, Syracuse. Gosh, and I could just, you know, get totally lost in this kind of stuff. So, and there's Danny Kaye. Love that guy. He's super funny. And yeah, so just kind of that kind of cool stuff. So there's this one, and this one's featuring an aerial gunner. So this magazine, the first one was from 1944. This one's from 1940. And Coca-Cola ad in the back. Again, just the images here, the illustrations and the advertising. It's just divine. I just love it. So look at that. Look at the bright pops of pink and kind of salmon in there. Very cool. So yeah, just some really cool imaging in here, or illustration. What was that one I just passed? I thought I saw something that was pretty cool. Where'd it go? I'm probably not going to find it now. Nope. But anyway, really cool. So this one is from November 1st, 1943. So the day before my birthday. In 1972, not 1943. But this one shows a Thunderbolt fighter. This is the kind of stuff my dad would have liked to read through, because he was in the military, and my grandfather was as well. But you know, kind of the old war movies and stories and things like that. He just really enjoyed that. And I have a globe. I'm so excited about that I found. It's like one from the 40s. I'm super thrilled about it. And just, yeah, some really great graphics in here. This one's about a Georgia prison. Talking about getting rid of some of the old ways they used to treat them, I guess, the prisoners. Look at this guy. What's he got on his legs? Says, Barrow prisoner Walter C. Huff, 21, sentenced 12 months for speeding and reckless driving, wears iron picks riveted above the ankles. Burlap wrapping is to prevent chafing. Picks hobble the prisoners prevent running away. Huff testified he was taken to see the pigs, beaten and shackled on his first day at the camp. That seems a bit excessive for speeding, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a police officer or law enforcement, but look at that. That looks extremely painful. Imagine that happening now if you got caught for speeding. It's crazy. Let's look at this next one here because I saw some ladies. All women prisoners were confined at the Tatanal prison. In quarters like this, with messy beds and bare floors, women of all ages and types have been lumped together. Barefoot in a filthy uniform, girls of 16 and 17 have been confined with hardened criminals and prostitutes. There has been little effort toward rehabilitation. So that's what this whole article is about, is trying to get rid of these harsh conditions. Yes, they're serving time for a crime or, offenses that they did. But, putting in 16, 17-year-old girls with, like they mentioned, hardened criminals and prostitutes, that's probably not the best situation for sure. I mean, it'd be pretty scary, I imagine. And this one here, this is just an all African American. They say Negro because that's how they spoke back then, but it's not like proper to say that. Look at this. Really, really cool. I love that. Look at this hand cream. This cracks me up. It starts off with this lady. Let me fold it over so I can show it to you. I felt old as a witch when I looked at my poor hands. Look at her expression. Just cracks me up. And then she's like, oh, the cream. And then she's like, oh, everything is all better. It's just funny to me. I just love that. Really funny. I'm not a big fan of Oriental. I mean, I like it. I shouldn't have said it that way. That's not what I meant to. I shouldn't have started it that way. Let me start over. Some of the, I think Japanese and the Asian culture, I think their art and the materials for their, like the kimonos, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. What I meant to say is that I don't decorate my home with this type of look, but imagine somebody who does, how beautiful these things would be, cut out nicely, matted and framed. It would just be beautiful. I think. I just really like it. But the colors that they use, the vivid pops of colors, I just love it. Really, really nice. So there's a really cool story there. And let's see. Talking about freeing refugees. Look at that clock. And that wallpaper. Isn't that something? President Roosevelt. John Wayne, Martha Scott in old Oklahoma. That's cool. Okay, I'm going to move on. Sorry, ladies. I get lost in this kind of stuff. So, let me save my favorite for last. This is the last couple things here. So these here are some pages that my husband bought for me. And let me just take off the sticker here. Because these are all the same year, yeah, so I don't need to do that. So I'm going to just take the sticker off of the little protective sleeve it's in. Give me just a second here. And I looked at these before when I was in, and I didn't grab any, and there were probably about, I think in I've been in the store 3 times. The very first time I went in, I saw them, and I'd say there's probably close to maybe 80 or so of these individual pages. And then there were less and less, and then especially way less yesterday, because it was the last day. I think they had like maybe 12 left. I grabbed the 4 that I liked the best because I loved the old, sorry for the glare, but I don't want to take these out of the sleeve, that had the best, in my opinion, kind of the aging and the natural distress. These are from 1634. Let that sink in for a second. 1634. I'm going to hold this up so you can pause the video so you can read this on your own, if you'd like to do that. This just blows my mind that I'm holding in my hands pages from a Bible from 1634. They're separate pages. The guy that owned the shop, he said that he, quite a few years ago, purchased these individual pages. It was actually a book, and he took it. It wasn't a full book because he would have obviously, made some bank on that, I'm sure. But they were, loose pages from the Bible, not the book. And that's what I meant to say. And so he bought them as a lot, and then he decided he wanted to sell the individual pages. So other people who love old things like this, could have some of them in their home too. So that was pretty cool he did that. Of course, he's making money on it too, but still, I still think it's kind of cool that, he is kind of sharing that love of, antiques and vintage and things like that. But just look at this, and look at that. Look at this, the font. I mean, this is in English. It looks like it's in a different language kind of because of the font, but it is just crazy to me. I mean, that's pretty hard for me to read. I can read a few, well, this is easier, of course, but I can pick out some words and stuff, but some of it, it's not like I can read this as quickly as if I'm reading from a current day magazine or whatever. So, but just kind of want to show you these because I think these deserve to have some attention on them. But look at that. 1634, ladies. This may not mean anything, or you get excited if you aren't into the old stuff like I like it, but I'm just beyond thrilled to possess pieces like this. So these will always stay in the sleeves. These are not anything that I will put in a junk journal or alter or, tear apart or whatever. This is just kind of one of those things like when you have collectibles that you just look at them or they're displayed or whatever. But so that's my intention for these right now anyway. So thought these are really great to have. All right, so now I'm going to totally geek out here for a moment. If anybody knows me, besides my passion and obsession for purple, of course, that I am a massive classic movie fan, completely obsessed. And my favorite movie of all time, and I would hum the song for you, but I'm not going to because I don't want to get some copyright claim on my video, even though it would just be a few seconds or whatever. And I just want to put something over top of this here. I'm putting this other sticker over top just to, not have to share with the world how much we paid for things. But this is gorgeous and Gone with the Wind. I guess I could have just taken it out of the sleeve. Duh, Abby. What a goof. So Gone with the Wind is my all-time favorite movie. I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you that I've seen that movie probably, first time I saw it, I was 16. And I fell in love because of the clothing and the architecture and just the whole era. Clearly, I would, don't approve of the whole having, slaves on your plantations and that kind of thing, especially being African American. So aside from that's just part of our history. But I just love the movie and I'm a huge fan. But I have seen it, I'm not even kidding you, I'd say well over probably 70 times, if not even more than that, because I just love it. I watch it over and over. Sometimes I'll just put it on for a little bit for background noise. And again, since I was, starting from when I was 16. So these are the laser disc. It's a 2-disc set. Now I've heard of these, but I've never owned any of these before. And I didn't buy these to play. Sorry, I'm bumping my tripod. I didn't buy these to play them or anything. I bought it because it's, again, a collectible, just like those Bible pages are, because I have a lot of different collectibles from Gone with the Wind. And maybe I'll do like a Gone with the Wind collection series someday. I don't know. We'll see. But look at the inside. Isn't that just gorgeous? Just beautiful still photos from different scenes throughout the movie. And there's Scarlett with her papa in front of Tara. And then that's the back side. Now I'll pull one of these out just in case nobody's ever seen them before. It's going to be a glare, so sorry about that. But this is one of the sleeves. It's the MGM Laserdisc, the greatest name in entertainment. And in my opinion, the greatest movie in entertainment. I love it. It's just my favorite. We all have our favorites, and that one's mine. So this is going to be super shiny, like I said. You can see my face. Yuck, nobody needs to see that business, but you can kind of see. It's like a large CD is what I'm comparing it to. So really, really cool. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I was really excited. And my husband actually found this, and I'm excited that he found it, but I'm also like, how could I not see this? Because I walked past where this was. It was mixed in with some records and stuff. I don't know how I didn't see this. I guess I was just so focused on getting to that back room where all the ephemera and stuff was. But I love this. I'm really excited about having it. So that is everything from that most recent, well, it's gonna be the last one because he's closing down that particular shop anyway. So just wanted to share this with you ladies and kind of my love of things that are vintage. Not everything I probably share in hauls and stuff is actually like craft related. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna make this into a canvas or a scrapbook page or cut it apart for ephemera or whatever. That's not gonna happen. But I just like to share, because there's more to me than just paper crafting, which is my passion, of course. Crafting in general, not just paper crafting. But anyway, so I'm going to share that with you. So thank you for letting me kind of geek out a little bit on this kind of stuff. So I will see you ladies next time. Happy scrapping, happy planning, happy crafting. and I will see you in my next video. Bye.